Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a book that I read last year that I totally forgot to do the book review for on this channel, so I apologize for that. Last year I read over 52 books, and I've been trying to weed through the ones that I want to share with you guys this year, the ones that were like my favorites from last year, along with sharing some new ones going forward. So book reviews going forward will have a mix of books I've read in the past, along with books I'm currently reading. But let's get into the book review I want to give today, which is How to Survive a Ghost Story by Maddie Gudenkauf. I think I'm saying her last name right. I apologize if I'm not. I will make sure that I type this out probably above me or something so you can see how it's exactly spelled. But again, I came across this last year. I follow her because she has a YouTube channel, a Twitter account. I was following her on those, and she mentioned that she had self-published a book. And once she mentioned that, I put it on my I want to read list because I really enjoyed her content on YouTube. It's very simple. It's about book hauls and stuff. And when I was trying to get back into reading last year, she was one of the channels that kind of just was kind of encouraging and everything. So when I saw this book, I will have to say this, I'm not someone that reads paranormal that often, but again, she was somebody I followed, and when she said she has self-published, I really wanted to support her at some point. I'm not getting paid or sponsored or anything like that to give a review of this book. It's going to be my honest review. It has nothing to do with the fact that, I like her YouTube channel. I'm giving an honest review of her book for those that might be interested in it. Again, it's called How to Survive a Ghost Story by Maddie Gudenkauf. And what I like about it is the cover. The cover is actually pretty nice. I think it's actually really soft to the touch, which is kind of weird. But it came out not that long ago. I think only a couple years ago. And I like the cover. It's black and white. I do like black and white. I feel like the way it's kind of on there kind of looks like somebody writing out a manual on how to survive. So I do like that, and on the back is some cute little ghosts and stuff. I do wish there was a camera on here, and that's only because when you read the book, you'll kind of know how important a camera is to the story. So I do wish that maybe there would have been a little camera hidden somewhere on the front or the back cover, but it doesn't take away from the story. Now the other thing I like about this book, before we dive into the story itself, is the chapter headings. I think I want to find the first one. Now because it's called How to Survive a Ghost Story, trying to think, it actually has list tips at the beginning of the chapter. So tip 1, keep your eyes open, and that chapter is kind of about that. So as you flip through, and you get to different chapters, tip 4, don't profit off the dead, and it kind of does that continues the story, but each chapter is kind of a tip, which really plays up the title of the book, which I thought was a really cool idea, because let's face it, this way it almost reads like a manual of how to do it, but it's a story of this girl and her father and everything. But I love the interweaving of the chapters being, titled after tips. Tip number 9, leave exorcisms to the professionals. I like that. It's kind of fun to read the titles because it's not just chapter 1, chapter 2. The titles kind of lead you into what that chapter might be about, and I think that's really cool. The other thing I like about it is it wasn't a long read. It ended up being around, let me see, where is it? 220-ish pages of story. And I thought that was a pretty good, fairly quick read, and it kept me engaged the whole time, which is always a plus. Because, again, I don't read paranormal books that often. And before we get into more, I will say I gave this book, I had to look it up again, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, which is a big deal for me because the reason I gave it 4 out of 5 stars is these reasons. 1, it kept me engaged. There were parts that I actually was laughing out loud about. And it didn't matter that I don't normally read paranormal type things, because it is about, I'm going to read the back cover a little bit. Ghosts are more than just stories for 16-year-old Lucy and her paranormal investigator father. Ghosts are their livelihood. But when they move to a small town in Kansas for a case, Lucy discovers that not everyone takes the undead as seriously as she does. So kind of that's a little blurb on that. I left out a couple words, but that's the gist of the back. So it's kind of cool. It kind of gave me, I'm going to say it's going to sound really bad, but do you remember the Casper movie where the daughter and the father kind of moved to this other town? It's kind of like that, but not like that. I just want to say it gave me that vibe. When she described the main character of Lucy, I immediately had an image in my head what she looks like, and that's always a plus in a book, is if I can visualize what the characters are looking like, then you're doing your job and keeping me engaged and making me able to envision it, because I like that. Or when you give me a frame of reference. When she was describing Lucy, the image that popped in my head came from the movie Beetlejuice. If anyone's seen that movie, you see Winona Ryder standing outside the outfit, the clothes she's wearing, and she's got a camera, and she's looking up, like, I got that vibe when she was describing Lucy, but Lucy has blonde hair, not black like Winona Ryder, but that essence of what Winona Ryder was in Beetlejuice is kind of what I got from the character of Lucy a little bit, just the way that she speaks and stuff like that. Like, I like when an author can give me, like, a frame of reference and describe things a way that I can be engaged with. The next thing I liked about this book is the story itself. It was kind of a simple story. It was paranormal, but it wasn't like, it was a mixture of lighthearted and not lighthearted, and I think she did a very good balance of that. So if you're someone that likes paranormal stories, I think this would be a good fun read, because it's got that mixture of some moments that are going to make you go, oh geez, and then other moments that are a little more serious, and I think she did a good job blending those two, and that's another reason I gave it a 4 out of 5. I felt that the characters weren't too bad. There was only a couple minor things that knocked it down for me, and that was, there was a misuse of a name, which I know a lot of book readers get really bent out of shape with that, and I get that, but it didn't happen more than like once. Like, if it had happened continuously through this book, I would not give it a 4 stars, but it only was a brief thing. For somebody that self-published it, I think she did an awesome job. I think, it wasn't something, because I know people that self-publish, get a lot of hate. Like, oh, you're not a good enough writer, you couldn't get a publishing house to publish you. That's not the case. Sometimes I think people that self-publish are a little braver, because they're the ones that are going to be promoting the book. They're the ones that are doing the best to make sure it's edited right, to make sure, like, the story is what they want. They can create their price point. They don't have to, like, answer to anybody. So there's a lot to be said about that. Like, I've self-published before, but that's a whole nother story. But again, like, I felt like for a first-time author, this was a really good read. Like, I gave it a 4 out of 5 because I felt like she did a really good job, creating these characters, giving them distinct identities. A couple times, yeah, you might roll your eyes, but there was one part, like I said, that made me laugh out loud, and that's one of the reasons I did rank it up a little higher than I would normal books, especially paranormal books. So if you're into that kind of story where it's not like, it gives you serious but not serious, Lucy's character you kind of relate to, and what also gave me wanted to give it a 4 out of 5 is it left me wanting more. Those are kind of another criteria I have with books. Like, when I'm done with your book, do I want to read another one by you, or do I want to see the story continued? And that's kind of what happened here. When I was done with this book, I think I actually reached out to the author and went, are you doing another one? Are you continuing the story? And I think that's what's a good sign. Like, if you write something that somebody's saying, hey, where's your next book coming out? Are you continuing the story? And that definitely ranks it up a little higher in my eyes than a typical book. So, again, I would give this one a try if you can. I will have a link down below to her YouTube channel and her Twitter. And again, like, I would love to have more people support people that are self-published authors, because I think it's a big thing to do. And who knows, maybe in the future, Maddie will end up going to a regular publishing house. Who knows? But again, if you have a chance, head over to her YouTube channel. It's a very simple channel, and that's what I like too. I love finding different YouTube channels and have ones that are, like, we'll say over-the-top kind of channels, and ones that are a little more mild, a little more down-to-earth, I guess, kind of thing. And that's what Maddie's is to me. But, like I said, if you like kind of ghost stories, I think you would definitely enjoy this book. Again, I'm not a paranormal reader typically, and I actually liked it, a 4 out of 5. It kept me engaged. There's very minimum errors that I could see, and then there was the I want to read more aspect, and that definitely ranked it up higher, because I feel like I'm very critical of books, and a lot of times, a lot of books I read last year maybe got a 3 out of 5 stars, because they were just average. They didn't leave me wanting more, and that's a big key of why I would bump a book up to a 4, is if it does. So, and the price point wasn't too bad. I think it was $10 for this book at this site, plus the cost of shipping if it was included. So $10 is not too bad for a book, I feel, paperback. I don't believe at this time it's offered on Kindle, but I'm not sure. But again, if you get a chance, please check out this book, How to Survive a Ghost Story by Maddie Gudenkauf. I hope I'm saying your name right. If you're watching, Maddie, please let me know down below if I'm messing up your last name. I feel so bad. I get the same thing with my last name sometimes. But again, check her out. I'll have a link down below to her stuff. And like I said, it's a good read. Like I said, it's definitely a quick read. I mean, I read this fairly quickly, and I really apologize that I didn't get the review up sooner. But again, we're introduced to a lot of characters. They definitely are quirky. There's definitely, an interesting storyline. There's like I said, the ending left me wanting more, and all that really makes it rank up higher on my star rating. So have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in my next video.